Every computer system has its own way of displaying an error, the most famous being the Microsoft blue screen of death. Well, in this video, I'm going to be looking at another error, which is the Guru meditation error. Now, you may have seen this on old Amiga computers, but you may have also seen it on the web, on your mobile phone, and it's still around in a lot of places. We're going to look at the roots of this error and why did they use the words guru and meditation, and how do they relate to the pioneers of computing and early development?
Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara.
Computing's always had that connection with spiritualism, and its roots were based in the counterculture in the 1960s. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak often referred to the Beatles and Bob Dylan as being huge influences on them. During the time, there was a lot of political upheaval, and they were involved in the free speech movement in Berkeley. Stuff like freaking was also part of this counterculture, and it all kind of intertwined. So we're going to look first at the word guru and spiritualism, and why spiritualism is actually still relevant in computing today. The Beatles were massively influenced by India. When they went out there, they changed their sound. They were heavily influenced by the gurus, and there's even a Beatles ashram which has been set up. Now, Steve Jobs, of course, wanting to follow in their path, went out to India himself in search of enlightenment. He found himself in Uttarakhand in search of enlightenment from Guru Neem Karoli Baba, but Guru Neem Karoli Baba had sadly passed away just before Steve visited, so Steve spent his time at the Kainchi temple, sitting there reflecting on life and eating apples. Why is this still relevant to the modern tech world? Well, interestingly, Steve Jobs was tutoring Mark Zuckerberg, and Mark was having a bad time with Facebook. He was unable to relax and get his head together, so Steve actually sent Mark out to India to the Kainchi temple, where he also went and relaxed. Many other celebrities have gone there, and this is still a big thing in the tech industry. Meditation was a huge part of this 1960s counterculture, and that also led into the California New Age scene. It was also big in popular culture. Here's a comic by Robert Crumb, the creator of Fritz the Cat, that was called Mr. Natural, and he was often seen meditating in different places. There were many methods of meditating, people chanting, doing transcendental meditation, mantras, but also yogic flying. If you don't know what yogic flying is and you've not seen it before, you've got to check this out. This is a party political broadcast from the Natural Law Party in 1997.
We have a systematic and scientifically tested program to create integration and coherence in the nation. The Natural Law Party will establish a group of 7,000 experts in transcendental meditation and yogic flying. When a person practices transcendental meditation and yogic flying, a high degree of integration is produced in brain activity. The person experiences bubbling bliss and stress is dissolved. This is the basis of many practical results in every area of life. Through a group of 7,000 experts in yogic flying, this effect of coherence radiates to the whole nation, bringing down stress and negativity in society and making the nation strong, dynamic and integrated.
You're probably wondering, why is this relevant to the Amiga and this error code that keeps popping up on my phone or on my browser? Well, when Amiga started, they were first called Hi-Toro, and they were creating joysticks and kind of peripherals just to get some money raised to create the Lorraine, which eventually turned into the Amiga. One of their products was called the Joyboard. Now, the Joyboard was ahead of its time, and it was kind of this balance board input device. And what the engineers did was they created a game. They called it Zen Meditation, and this was the actual roots of Guru meditation.
I always have a lot of fun with the joy board, and we were always making jokes about it. And one of the jokes that we made was that we would use this board when we were working on the Amiga. We would use it to calm ourselves by playing a game that we then said someday we're going to publish and make available to everyone. was called the Zen Meditation Game, where instead of having an exciting action game, with the Zen Meditation Game, you would sit on the joyboard in Zen Lotus style, and your object was to not move at all, to achieve perfect peace and stillness and not move in the least. And the idea was, what a ridiculous game this would be. We said that you would get bonus points if you reached a state of nirvana while playing the game. But the fun thing about it was that was originally the joke, the Zen Meditation Game. And we would say that we would use the game while we were working on bugs in the Amiga operating system, and we would sit on the joyboard and go into a state of Zen meditation and contemplate what was the problem with our source code. We would meditate upon it. And this turned into the guru meditation number that was the thing that you would see whenever the Amiga would crash. It was the evolution of one idea to the next. That crashed Amiga guru meditation came from all of that.
Zen meditation or guru meditation, whatever you were going to call it, was just a little bit of fun. It was a little joke that the engineers had, and they were never going to kind of release it as a game or commercial product. Well, someone actually has. Ian Bogost has created a tribute to the kind of Zen meditation game called Guru Meditation, and it's available in a limited edition. So it came out as a set of Atari cartridges. There were 10 of them available. It supported the joyboard. The idea was that you would meditate and clouds would pass as the hours went on. It also came with a free yoga mat accessory, and it's been ported to the iPhone and iPod Touch, so you can check them out and maybe have a little play yourself. Now, that game was pretty cool, but how did it actually become an error code?
I owned an IBM PC at home, and I programmed on the IBM PC. And when I crashed my IBM PC, the screen went dark, and it would reboot sometimes, or you'd have to turn it off, actually, and turn it back on. And about that same time, Macintosh was coming out, and they had this little bomb. I'd heard about their little bomb that came up on the screen. I thought, that's kind of interesting, coming up with some sort of indication that your software failed, that your machine failed. And I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought, you're going to have a sense of humor. If your machine fails like this, it's like, and you've lost 2 hours worth of editing, you're going to want to laugh about this somehow. So we put it in there. The machine crashed then for Martin Shabilsky, I think, in his office. The machine crashed, and he saw this thing come up. It said Guru Meditation. And he said, what is this? Take this out right now. and so I took it out, and it said software failure. And all of a sudden, so a new version of the system went out that said software failure, and everyone was like depressed. Well, it was like, put the Guru Meditations back in. And so we did it without permission. We just put it back in.
That's right. All the developers, what did you do? It's a software failure. What is that? So we just put it back. We didn't ask. We just did it.
I can remember one of the first the large users group meetings I went to, where people would go up there and they'd show their programs, their software that they wrote in front of the group. And of course, whenever it would crash, the Guru Meditation would come up, and everyone would be chanting Guru, Guru, Guru. Now they wouldn't be chanting software failure.
The greatest thing in my eyes, and the biggest legacy of the Guru Meditation era, was the fact that it could be seen so well, with that big red border constantly flashing. I'd go around in the 90s and 80s and see it displayed on train ticket information booths. I'd see it displayed on music television, previews for TV guides. And that legacy has kind of implanted itself in many of the developers' minds. They're still using Guru Meditation codes all over the internet. There's lots of programs and new ones that are getting discovered all the time. And you know what? I'm sure you guys have seen some absolutely hilarious Guru Meditation codes, seen them in some really odd places. So I'd love to hear your stories about it. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please check out my channel and subscribe for more content. Ciao.
Guru